we'll go through those before we do the writing and then jump to the other thing. Did we have any questions that we wanted to see to go over on this page? So then go on to the writing. And the writing, you're now given a graph, given an inequality graph, and have to find the inequality. So you have to figure out what the slope and y-intercept is. And remember, the type of line will help you determine the type of symbol. Either of you have a class. And also, where it's shaded will determine what type of symbol you have. Solid lines are easier than the dashed lines because you have to work a little bit harder with the dashed lines. So with number 1, let's find the slope of y-intercept. Y-intercept is easy if you can see where that is at 8. The slope, we'd have to think of an ordered pair where the line would have went through. So find an ordered pair that the line would have went through. So that would be inside, but I need it on this side.
0. Maybe 4.
4, 0. Okay. So if I'm looking between those 2 points, I could count my slope. So I'm going down 8 to the right 4. So if I divided that, that'd be -2. So if I were to go down 2 to the right 1, I should end up at a point each time. You have to check that for the entire line because you could miscalculate your slope or think it's one thing, but it's really not. And if it's not, then your points will be off from whatever your slope, whatever you thought the slope was. But if you get the correct slope, then all of your points should line up on your line, and that's what you want. So our slope would be -2. And then we know this is a dashed line, so it's either going to be strictly less than or strictly greater than. If I'm looking at the y-intercept, I see that this is shaded above this line. So which symbol would that be? Greater than. So y is greater than -2x. Do you have this one?
Oh, I do have questions.
Questions on that one?
How do you have -2?
The slope. We counted the slope from this one to this one. Then number 2, what is the y-intercept? -4. And then the slope of this line? 1. It's going up 1 to the right 1. We can easily see that because there are no missing points. You can put 1x or just x. It's a solid line, so it has to be an equal to. And I can see at the y-intercept, this is shaded underneath, below this line. So which symbol would this be? Less than or equal to. Questions on that one? Yes. For the solid line, no. For the dashed line, yes. Okay, go on to the next page. What questions do we want to see on that page? Which one? Number 5. Any others? next level for this. Okay, for for 5 through 8, you need your playbooks. Since this is a vertical line, this is going to be an x inequality. You can look at where this crosses the x-axis. That would be at 6. This is a dashed line, so it has to be strictly less than or greater than. Are these numbers greater than or less than 6?
Greater than.
So x is greater than 6. Other questions? I got a few other tasks. Other questions on this page? So these are actually graphs from Desmos. So if you were to put these in, it will show you the type of line. It will shade it for you in the direction it needs to be shaded. And I'm going to pass these out.
Wait, how did you know it was greater than? Wait, not that it was greater than, but never mind.
Okay, you figure it out. Do we have any questions in general about how to graph or write linear inequalities? So now we're going to talk about systems. So everything about graphing in general, everything about everything we just did with graphing and writing, we need to keep in mind. This on yours is highlighted, blanked out. So if you want to rewrite this, you can. So now we're going to be graphing a system of inequalities, both of them on top of each other on the same graph. For this, I would advise that you either have 2 different colors or 2 different writing utensils so you can see where the overlapping shaded region is. You can grab color pencils if you like. So for this first one, we'll need to solve this. How will we do that? Add 3x on both sides. So we have 5y is less than 3x plus 10. And then divide everything by 5. So y is now less than 3/5 x plus 2. Go ahead and graph that. And this would be a dash or a solid line. Dash. Shaded above or below? Below. I'm going to shade those things. Right, and then the other one is already solved for you, so you just have to graph that one. Would this one be dashed or solid?
Solid.
Shaded above or below?
Above.
Above. So that would be. So then your goal is to find where they overlap. And you could either show that by having two different colors, by doing the lines two different ways, by maybe shading one darker than the other, or you can highlight over the entire overlapping section. Some way, shape, or form that I can see this is the overlapping. Sometimes pencil on pencil is hard to see the overlapping, unless you're doing lines or different shapes or something. So then if these points fall in the overlapping, then they are solutions. If they don't, then they're not. So -2, -2. Let's do that in a different way. Would that one be a solution?
No.
1, -1. Yes. 1, 1. Yes. 2, 5.
Yes.
No.
No.
No. It's in one of them, but it's not in both of them. And 6, 0. Yes. So then our other rules, if it falls on just like one, this wouldn't be a solution point anyway because it doesn't fall in here. But if there was a point like this one, where it falls on the line and it's kind of on the edge of the shaded area, overlapping shaded area, you could put that back into both of these. Put that order pair into both the X and Y of both and see does it work for both. If it does, then great. If it doesn't, then it's not a solution. Most of the time, it's not going to be a solution, just like if it were to fall on a regular dashed line. But if it were to fall on a solid line on the edge, double check it because sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Questions on that or how that works? Look at the next page. Here we have to state a system of inequalities and state a solution. One of your graphs, this one didn't really shade well on your paper, so if you want to shade that in, do that. So we're going to do number 1, and then any of you guys want to see, I'm going to change the color of one of these lines so it's a little bit easier to see and talk about. For my pinkish purple line, what would the y-intercept of the line be?
4.
4. And then if we were to find the slope, what would that be? -1. I can see that that would continue all the way through, so -x. And then it's a solid line, so it has to be equal to, is this shaded above or below the line? Below, so that would be which sign? Symbol. Less than or equal to. And then for the other one, what is our y-intercept? -2. What do we think the slope is? 1. So I'm gonna just double check that. Always double check the ones because it could be something close. Like it looks like it's 1, but maybe it's 2/3 or 3/4 or 5/6 or something really close like that. But the slope of this one was 1. This is a dashed line, so it has to be strictly less than or greater than. Is this shaded above or below the line? So
Greater than.
Right, and then give me one point that would be a solution.
2. -2.
-2, that works. What?
-4.
Sure. With the ones you said, -4. Sure. There's a bunch.
-10.
Sure. There's a bunch. We just needed one.
Okay.
But I'm glad you guys can find the solutions. Do we have any questions on how to state a system of inequalities or find solutions? Yes. Are there any others on this page we want to see, do, go over, have questions about? I don't think I mentioned this yesterday. That's not what I meant. But the graphing and the systems are going to be your no calculator sections. But despite that, I'm still going to show you how you could check it on your calculator while you're practicing in class. So on the next page are all the instructions I'm about to say. But on your calculator, go ahead and reset it. Second plus 712. And then you're going to go into apps, which is the button next to math. I have a lot more than you will, but you should have 4. Finance, conics, inequals, and polysmall 2. Find inequals. And then go ahead and press enter. Does anyone not have any inequals? I tried to fix all the ones that didn't. You don't have it, okay.
I'm not gonna have it.
Okay, grab a different one. I need to add it to this one.
You need to add what?
The apps.
I don't think.
You went to apps.
Oh wait, never mind. Okay.
And then go into y equals. When you get there, if you're not on the equals, it'll look like normal. But if you hover over the equals, you'll see these at the bottom. And then you can change it. I'm just going to use the ones from the notes. the two inequalities from the notes. Y is less than 3x plus 2. So if you hover over the equals and press alpha window to change that to less than, you'll also see that this changes off to the side. It is now a dotted or dashed line that's shaded below.
Okay.
Right.
Did you get it?
I did.
You need to be in y equals.
I was.
Go back to y equals.
Press
Just press y equals.
I
And then go ahead and put in 3x plus 2. The issue with when you're in this app, you can't use alpha y equals for your fraction bar, so you have to use fractions in parentheses. So let's change this one to greater than or equal to alpha graph. And you can see it's now a solid line shaded above. In parentheses, put negative 1 divided by 2. And then outside of that, x minus 4.
How did you get the x divided?
I put the division one.
Interesting.
Good graph.
I was like drawing.
What?
Can I draw a picture of this? Is that not possible?
Yes, but it's not necessary for you to do that right now.
Oh.
So, mine will be in color, yours is in black and white, but it should look similar to this. There are different ways to look at this. If you go into shades, so alpha y equals, you have different options.
Wait, what you say?
Alpha y equals. Right now we're on the original shade. It's showing one over top of the other. If you go into the first one, it'll show just the overlapping section. So if you wanted to double check, is my overlapping section correct? You could do that. The second one doesn't really help you at all.
Oh.
Yeah, no. So I would say avoid using the second one. The first and the third are great, but the second one is just showing literally everything. So that doesn't really help you.
How do I use the first one?
Okay. In Desmos, if you want to check yourself, you would just type them in like normal. So I'll show you that real fast.
You said go back to alpha.
I'm just going to make up 2 random ones.
I think it's so much drawing. Okay, so like, now if I'm going to draw it right now, how would I?
There's an option that says draw. Okay. In Desmos, you can see where these overlap really quickly. You can see the type of line you could put in order pairs to see if it would be a solution or not. So use Desmos to check this off also. Are there, looking through the rest of the notes, are there any you want to see me go over before I let you practice? Start on this page. This is just overlapping region, if you want to fill that in. So I'll give you the rest of the class today to practice, and you can be doing one of a bunch of different things. working on this packet, working on the graphing and writing packet, working on Delta Math, the compound and absolute value inequalities, that's due Friday, the graphing, that's due Friday, the systems, that's also due Friday, the SOL packet, that's due on Tuesday. So I can tell you right now that SOL 2B, you could try just putting in decimals. 2A and 2C, you might have to do that. But try those. You can work together, use the time wisely, let me know if you have any questions.